Hey up guys, Stark here. Today I wanted to discuss the current state of Xbox, my opinions on the matter, and why I think Xbox as a console platform is dying a slow, inevitable death. So I decided to make this video after seeing recent reports on Target removing space for new Xbox consoles and content. So Target is removing store space for Xbox consoles, content, accessories, things like that. Now I know the current downward trend of physical media will probably end games retailers as a whole. I mean, just look at what's happened with GameStop, with it having to close down stores and almost ceasing to exist. People in the UK will remember outlets such as Grainger Games, GameStation, obviously those guys having to close down due to the digital media becoming the norm and a decline in physical media and sales. But for a US based retailer to reduce its store space specifically for Xbox, in my opinion, is damning for the brand. And I mean, can you blame them when you look at the current state of affairs when it comes to that company? After the promises for years about treating their customers to first class experiences, promising Game Pass wouldn't cause a decline in quality, and clearly unfounded promises such as bringing big first party exclusives every 3 months, we find ourselves here. Redfall was no Game of the Year contender when it came out, to put it lightly. To be more honest, that game ruined the entire reputation of Arcane Studios, who were up until that point one of the most beloved game developers in the industry, with well-received games such as Dishonored, Prey and Deathloop. We also got Starfield, which while had promising initial build-up and reception, now seems like a failure when it comes to what fans expected. Most of which are now calling it a fast travel simulator in space. Now I was one of the few that were unbothered by the lack of seamless lifting off and landing, as I was sure they would get the on-planet and space exploration right. I mean, that's Bethesda's whole stick, right? The reason why many people, myself included, loved their previous titles. I mean, they couldn't mess it up surely. Skyrim in space? They just make things work, right? Right? Wrong.
And one of the great things about having a fully dynamic game engine is all of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding. All of this just works. All of this just works.
Bruh.
The exploration was tedious, the galaxy barren, the writing laughable, and most of the NPCs walking around looked like they had just been pulled straight from Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, a game that had released in 2006. Honestly, some elements of this game were absolutely criminal.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch!
And then on top of that, their absolute slam dunk, best-in-class driving title got a soft reboot in this year's Forza Motorsport, which launched to, for the standard of the series, lukewarm reviews at best. A title dogged by poor PC performance, especially when it came to CPU utilisation, causing horrible stuttering on a lot of people's PC rigs, lack of content compared to previous releases, issues accessing the online servers piled on top of this just made it an absolutely underwhelming release in comparison to the stellar past entries in the series. Sprinkle on a little bit of 343, dragging the Halo IP through the mud to the point where I feel like Master Chief just needs to be taken around the back of some random building and a bullet put in the back of his head to put him out of his misery.
Gorman?
His armor's locked up. Gel layer could have taken most of the impact. I don't know, Sergeant Major.
All this culminates, unfortunately, in the sad state that Xbox currently finds themselves in. They are sick and tired of constantly getting let down to the point it feels like they are probably in an abusive relationship with a pathological liar. And if they think a failing franchise such as Call of Duty or a mobile game aimed at grandmas in the form of Candy Crush are going to save them, I'm afraid they're sorely mistaken. Recently, Phil Spencer mentioned in an interview if Game Pass doesn't hit its growth targets by 2027, that the brand would be no more. I think when it does get to 2027, Phil will probably be sat on his sofa, out of a job, crying, like that one Ian Beale moment in EastEnders.
I've got nothing left! I've got nothing left!
Now, saying all this and going after Xbox doesn't give me any pleasure. When I look back at Xbox, it gave me some of my best ever gaming moments. Playing on Halo 2 on the original Xbox with my pals, the massive success of the early days of the Xbox 360 with titles such as Gears of War, Forza in its pomp, and Halo 3, to be perfectly honest, being absolute top to bottom perfect video game. It almost brings a tear to my eye to see how far they've fallen and how poor they've been in recent memory. I don't know about you guys, but my memories I've had with the platform are now being tarnished due to its current state. I want an Xbox that does well. I want their developers to put out games that can trade blows and even top some of the best first-party titles that Sony are responsible for. But when I look at the last 12 months and even beyond that, the platform is barren of good content, and that doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. Even with the recent acquisition of Activision, hopefully they can turn things around, and if I come back to this video in the future and realise I've been wrong, all power to them. But at this moment in time, I highly doubt it. That's all from me anyway, guys. Like if you enjoyed the video, leave a dislike if you didn't. I upload videos on a weekly basis, so if you want to hear more from me, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to be kept up to date when I upload in the future. And if you do none of that, make sure to take care of yourselves, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Sidhe.